Hello, and welcome once again to Movies That Pop. I'm the Kernel. Let's see what popped up in theaters this week. Alexander Payne has always made movies that meandered a bit, perhaps, but always rewarded your patience by ending up somewhere really captivating and revealing the human condition in fresh and exciting ways. This time, though, I'm sad to say that he came up a little short. Now, I have no problem with movies that evolve over their running time or subvert expectations, but Downsizing basically becomes a different movie entirely every 20 minutes or so, never staying on point, and always just out of reach of a unifying theme to bring it all together. Overall, it began to make me feel like a cat chasing a laser pointer. And as anyone knows, a cat will only do that for so long before losing interest and slinking out of the room in disgust. Now, Downsizing is based on a great high-concept idea that in the near future, scientists will perfect the ability to shrink humans to a fraction of their size, and the world begins to see this as a way to solve the planet's overpopulation problem. Shrunken people consume less food, produce less waste, and take up, well, less space. Their money goes a lot farther, too, and for middle-class, salt-of-the-earth people like Paul, the occupational therapist played by Matt Damon, miniaturization seems like the key to a better life. He and his wife, played by Kristen Wiig, decide to take the plunge and soon leave suburbia for Leisureland, an idyllic miniature community in New Mexico. Now, this section of the movie is arguably the most endearing and most fascinating. It also contains the majority of the stuff that ended up in the film's trailer. This is the whole science fiction concept that got you in the door in the first place, and the little hows and whys and what ifs are very, very fun. Also, a random encounter that the couple has with a drunk guy at a bar on the night before they go under the microscope hints at larger social debates, as that man muses aloud that miniature people maybe shouldn't get the same rights as normal-sized people. And I wanted more of that stuff, the social allegories. Would this film turn into a metaphor for discrimination? Or would this tale of middle-class people sort of cheating the system to obtain the life of affluent people be a commentary on structural social inequality? Woo! That sounds pretty good! That's all kind of fascinating, especially when the allegory you're using is such a goofy one. But no such luck. Abruptly, the movie shifts gears when, and this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer, Paul's wife chickens out and leaves him while he's undergoing the shrinking procedure. Now he's stuck at 5 inches tall, he's lost half of his assets in the divorce, and he has to downgrade to a much smaller, but still pretty nice, apartment in a less posh section of the tiny town. Now you start to feel, okay, well, this movie's gonna be about a guy starting over and putting his life back together, finding himself after being laid low. No pun intended. Well, after a few scenes that show him trying to move on romantically and put himself back out there by attending a wild party thrown by his hedonistic neighbor, the always welcome Christoph Waltz, the movie shifts again once he meets Nock, a Vietnamese amputee political refugee who cleans houses in Leisureland after being shrunken against her will, which again, there's some interesting extrapolation here. An advance in technology being corrupted by evil. These are some interesting wrinkles, let's track those. But just as you're starting to track those, the movie passes the point of no return when you either get on the bus or off the bus. During the scene where Paul literally gets on a bus with that character Nock. Look, there is some marvelous acting done by Hong Chow as Nock, but her character serves no real purpose. She's innocent and pure of heart and teaches Paul to make the world better by helping people. But the thing is, Paul is shown at the very beginning of this movie being beloved at his job where he helped people with workplace injuries and generally improves their lives. That's how he is at the beginning of the movie, and that's what serves as his closing image at the end of this movie. Paul is really the same person before and after this story unfolds. So where's the story? Where's the growth? Where's the arc, as we like to say? Now back to that bus ride I was talking about. That's where you really start to see this movie spinning its wheels. Not by staying in the same spot, but by continuing to roll further and further away from an identifiable point. Where that bus takes him sets up another intriguing possibility, a theme about perhaps human nature and the class system, how no matter how perfect a utopia we create, there will always be haves and have-nots, I don't know, and I can't really say because the message never really gels, it just shifts again to one final ridiculous and unconnected third act push towards a truly confounding set of circumstances that I think it wants to be inspiring but just ends up pretty limp. Ultimately, I can only give Downsizing a small bag of popcorn. This is a movie that started with a great idea and ends up having multiple great ideas spring out of it, but none of them fit together or form a cohesive plot or end up meaning much of anything when they're tossed together and mixed around. Downsizing is a bigger waste of potential than Justice League was, which makes it officially the year's biggest disappointment. That does it for this edition of Movies That Pop. Don't forget to follow me, the Kernel, on Twitter at moviesthatpop, and click the icon right down there to visit our channel if you'd like to see more, and support us, please, by clicking subscribe while you're there, and by clicking the thumbs up icon below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on downsizing in the comments as well. Let's hear it. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'm the Kernel, and what kind of f*** you gave me?